All right. Good evening, everyone. Keon Brown. It is amazing to be with you tonight. An incredible day to be with you today. It's January 20th, 2021. On tonight's show, we've got some amazing Eagles. Hope you guys can hear me. Let's see. We've got Tamika Bowden. She's the current president of our NCCU Alumni Association. We've also got the Nutty Professor himself, Wesley Lawson from the class of 2011. And then we also have an amazing mental health professional, Nakia Adamson from the class of 2009. See, there we go. Here I am back. So grateful to have you here. What an exceptional moment in history we've just witnessed. I'm here in DC. So I just wanted to get all of our DC, some of our big DC elite Eagles in the building. Let's bring everybody in. Let's get Nakia in here. What's up, Nakia?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Super excited. Today I'm like super excited about everything today.
Yes, well, let's start with you. What's up with you and what's going on? Like, what are you doing in life? You're in the DMV. Talk about your year and your matriculation at NCCU really quickly. Welcome.
So I am a high school administrator in DC right now. So I'm working in education. I've been doing that for about 11 years now. So I've been working in education for 11 years. So yeah, like you said, I'm in Washington, DC. I'm actually in grad school for the second time. I'm doing a grad program in clinical mental health counseling. And so I am transitioning into the mental health profession. I graduated from Central in 2009 with my BA and my BS in psychology and Parks and Recreation Administration. And then again in 2011 with my Master's of Public Administration from Central as well. And that's your questions? Yes.
Yeah, of course. Excellent. We just want to say hello to you. Let's bring in W. Lawson. I see that. The name himself. What's up, bro? Wesley, how are you?
What's up, everybody? How are you?
Excellent. Tell the people about you real quick. We're gonna talk to everybody individually. We're gonna bring everybody in a second to have a bigger discussion. Talk about your year and your matriculation and what you're up to.
All right. North Carolina Central 2011 graduate back here in Washington, D.C. home, teaching high school English in Southeast at Friendship Technology Preparatory Academy. And this past year in 2020, at the beginning of 2020, launched my own educational and leadership consultancy. So the Nutty Professor is what I go by. But yeah, that's everything right now. The short version, at least.
We're going to get to all of that extra stuff. Thank you so much, man. Grateful for you to be here. Let's get our
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Let's get Tamika in here, our current president of the NCCU Alumni Association. Madam President.
How are you, sir?
I'm excellent. You got your pearls on, you know what I'm saying? Glass ceilings are broken today, and you were a part of that as well. You have broken some significant glass ceilings in your time as well. To say hello to the people.
Hi, how is everyone? How are you? I don't feel like I haven't seen you forever.
I know all these. I'm zoomed out, Perez. I'm zoomed out.
Yeah, I'm double tasking here because I have lots and lots of friends that are getting sworn in right now to start on day one in the administration. So it's super exciting across the board to see so much talent ready to buckle up and get ready to work.
Yeah, let's bring in everybody. I want to go ahead and bring everybody in. Wesley and everybody's here. What's up, Eagles?
Well, my favorite Eagles. Look at that.
No, I'm so thank you guys so much for being educators and doing the amazing work that you're doing right now, because I know that it's not what you signed up for. But I truly appreciate you as someone that works in the administration side of education. I truly appreciate the work that you do.
I appreciate that. It's definitely not what we signed up for, but we still got a job to do.
Well, let's start by a couple things in the news, Eagles in the news. Check out this. We've got Roland S. Martin rocking NCCU paraphernalia recently. Saw that on some streams. Let's get into also forever First Lady Michelle Obama in her NCCU maroon today, getting it done. And also, here's another picture of There you go. NCCU Maroon. Also, let's just get into the new Vice President of the United States of America taking the oath there. And let's see, do I have anything else? I think I have one with and Joe Biden there. Excited about those images. Let's start with Madam President. Tamika, what are some of your initial thoughts of the day up until today, up until this moment? It's been a full day right now. Joe Biden is the president. Kamala is the vice president. Kamala has, a Jew, a black man, and a Hispanic walking to the Senate floor. That's not a joke. That's for real. So now they're all sworn in. And then also until this moment, Joe Biden has signed at least 2 executive orders, one being about COVID-19. What are your thoughts so far?
I'm like overjoyed, super excited. Could not go to sleep last night. It felt like Christmas Eve because I was super excited to just, get to this day. So many great things about today. And reflecting on just a week ago, horrific, the world was for us in terms of feeling like politically, socially, and racial tensions were coming together. So I'm super excited about today.
Thank you for that. Nakia, what are your thoughts so far today?
I think it's such a time to be a Black woman in America right now. I think that, it was one thing to have a first lady that was a boss like Michelle, but I think it's something different to be not only just a Black woman in America, but like an HBCU grad, because I think that for so long, there's been this conversation about like the relevancy of an HBCU education. And so like, that's not a question anymore because the vice president of these United States is a graduate of an HBCU. And so I think today has been just so amazing to celebrate that and to celebrate all the Blackness and like the hope that comes with her walking across the stage. And then also being a Jamaican American, like it's just so much diversity when you think about like what it means for her to be vice president. And I'm just so like honored to be a part of like I have so many connections with the vice president of the United States. So it's just been amazing. I've been up since the crack of dawn watching every bit of it.
Yeah. And, I was listening to Brian Williams today, man. He is so versed in, Black. I don't know. He seems the most comfortable in talking about AKA and HBCU and Black this. And I was like, yo, somebody to coach you, brother. I mean, yes. Something is working for you. He said at some point, he was like, if you know any AKAs, they're probably never going to let you live this down. Or your Howard University graduates are not going to let you live this down. He said that. I was like, bro, you know what's going on. You know as well.
Yeah.
Wesley, how about you? What are your thoughts on today up until now?
I think it's like Nakia said, she said it's a great thing to be a Black woman. It's a great thing right now to love Black women and to love Black culture and to see, Michelle Obama smash it today and steal the show. And then to see Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, to see the military armed guards salute to an African-American woman, a Jamaican American woman, a South Asian woman. To salute to her as vice president was just amazing. But it was also refreshing to see a return of hope to this country. Mm-hmm. I think it started last night, seeing them return to the Lincoln Memorial and to pay their respects to COVID victims. And for me, it was just like in 20 minutes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did what this president hasn't done in a year and a half. And that's comfort families and, just really be human. And then to see today, so much excitement around the inauguration. We haven't felt that in a while. So I remember telling friends this past summer, when you see American flags, you automatically associated that a little bit with racism and bigotry too. But it felt good because it was nothing at the time to be proud about in this country this summer. So it felt good today to see some sense of patriotic, hopeful feeling return to this country.
Yes. And Wesley was referring to former president, the former 45th president in his comments there, who unfortunately was not able to make it to the proceedings, who broke over 100 and some years of tradition, but understood that, I think that might have been the best for our country. I think we need to move on swiftly. And I think they've done an excellent job. I mean, there's been some gaps, Tamika and I are in communication, so there was some long pauses that kind of bothered me, but
I had to do those because technically the president can't be sworn in, can't officially take office until noon. So like
Until noon.
pacing, like that 4.5 minutes they were late on, they picked it up quickly. So yeah. It was still good though. Those moments, I'm learning that it's important during this time to be uncomfortable with pauses. It's okay. And so I think it allowed us time to actually take in each part of the program, because each part was like amazing within itself. It was a great day.
Rapid fire. What was your favorite? We'll start with Madam President, then we'll go to Wesley. What was your favorite part of the ceremony today, Madam President?
I think it was the National Poet Laureate.
Yes.
She was amazing. But there was so much symbolism, from like Lady Gaga's brooch to, there was just a lot a part of the day. But I would say, I take that back. I think it was Vice President Harris taking the oath. That was just so many symbolism there, from having the first Supreme Court justice, first Latino Supreme Court justice issue her oath, was just absolutely amazing too.
What about you, Wes?
I am a Michelle Obama stan, so seeing her step out of that SUV for the first time, catching that glimpse, and then seeing this picture of her and our forever president coming down the colonnade was just absolutely amazing for me. Again, the Poet Laureate at the end was great. And then that prayer, that ending prayer at the end was just a great way to just set the tone and to, bring everybody back to their center.
Nikia, how about you?
See, look, and now I gotta say a second favorite. But no, I think that, like, and not to be like super cliche, but it was just the Black girl magic. Like, my favorite part was when Madam Vice President and my forever First Lady did the fist bump, and I was just like, look at that. But then, like, just having her being able to be sworn in by another woman that represented so much change, like, it was just amazing. I was literally tearing up watching like all the Black girl magic on that stage. The poet was amazing. Just to see so much diversity on the stage was just like really amazing to me.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say one other moment for me was, I don't know if you guys remember, but like the young lady that did the sign language for the pledge. I was just like, okay, I'm done.
She's from Durham. That's from Durham.
She threw up. Somebody said she threw up the door.
She did. She threw it up.
She's from Durham. Or she works in Durham. Something's about Durham. Zach Hawkins, put that up. Yeah.
I love it.
And it made me upset because they did not keep her, whatever station I was watching did not keep her on there the entire time to really see whatever she was doing was very brief. So I was like, let her sign the whole thing. Like most of the focus was on Joe and Kamala kind of looking along. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want to see who's on the stage. Anyway, but I love that. And that's Durham County right there. So the city of Durham, excited about that. So I was just going to say, there's going to be plenty more Black girl magic forever. Forever, at least for the next 16 years in the White House, or we're gonna be good for a while here. Let's go into. I want to start, of course, with the Madam President. How did NCCU find you?
NCCU did not find me. My mother, growing up, my sister had two options: you either go to the Army, the military, or you went to NCCU. My mother's a 1975 graduate. So those were our two choices. So my sister and I both attended North Carolina State University. The question was not where you're going to college. It was what are you going to major in if you attend college.
That's right.
So yeah, it wasn't about them finding me. It was that this is where you're going to go.
And so as now currently you're serving as the president of the NCCU Alumni Association nationally. And congratulations to you. Kudos to you. I just want to give you another moment. Like, you're going to continue you're talking about Black girl magic from the White House. You are breaking amazing glass ceilings for what you're up to, whether it be gender, whether it be age, whether it be whatever it is. You're trend setting and breaking barriers. What's been your experience so far, and what are you working on currently?
Thus far, it's been about rebuilding and connecting alumni of all ages, of all classes, to the association and to each other, and ultimately back to the university. So there's a lot of projects in the pot right now. And Keon, you're joining me on this as VP. I'm joining me on this ride, but mostly we're working on rebranding ourselves, not just from a logo standpoint, but also how we show up in this work to connect alumni. We're definitely trying to work hard with a bunch of alum to stand up some level of student engagement, support for students that are looking for internships and mentorship. So check out those opportunities. And trying to think what else. Anything else I'm forgetting, Keon? Because there's a lot on the plate that is like not needed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think generally speaking, we're trying to really diversify and get more people in the association. And I think you're doing a great job by really tapping into the younger alumni. We're on Clubhouse. We're going to do, if you guys are available, we can go to Clubhouse and do a post show at 6:30 just for a couple minutes if you guys want to hop on. Really just engaging with a wide variety. And you have been so graceful. I think as we were elected, there was like a hesitancy because of our ages, like that kind of hop that was so prevalent. And I was like, sheesh, I mean, you talking about ageism. I was like, sheesh, it's kind of a reversal, right? So it's not, you too young to lead, or, and then, as you have become the president, it's been such a beautiful dance. It's been such an honor because I think, and as Asaf is now the youngest or whatever his distinction is, but look, millennial leaders actually value history and legacy. And we want mentorship. So at no time have I ever heard Tamika say, we're trying to kick people out. We're trying to, clean the slate. That's never been a conversation from me talking to Tamika. And so I'm so grateful for your leadership and the grace that you bring to this platform. What are your thoughts on that?
I concur. It's about all of us. There's something, it's our association. It's what we want it to be. So I definitely feel like all of us have to decide what it is that we can contribute, whether it's our time, talent, or treasure, and decide what we're going to contribute and do that. And so for some people, for some alum, they have lots of money. So thank you for giving it. And for others, it's that they want to support students with their time or support the university with their talent. So we're open to all. It's not about, it's about you showing up, less about how you choose to show up in terms of like your donations or your time. It's that you're there and you want to actively participate.
Beautifully said. Wesley, I want to get to you. The Nutty Professor, you started your consultancy in 2020. Come on, out of COVID. Come on, launching stuff, innovation. Where did that come from, Nutty Professor, and how's it going?
Well, it came from really me doing the work before officially doing the work on paper. I have been called on several times to lead professional developments within the organization that I work for. I did some part-time teacher coaching in my last school organization that I was at. And then I had done some work for two organizations. One, I will mention, Teach for America. The other one is more so a non-disclosure. But I had done some work for them, and it was like, okay, so I need to start branding this and making some money on my own. And then my Instagram name was already Nutty Professor, so that was a give. So that's where it kind of came from, man. Back in last January was when I started thinking about it and toying with it, and then launched right at the beginning of COVID, actually.
Congratulations with that. I love the fact that you were doing the work before you even launched, and I think that's such a testament to an incredible ethic and what you're up to. So thank you for the work that you're doing, brother. Let's go to Nakia now. I want to hear more about Brown Girl Healing, and then also you are in grad school. Where are you in grad school at? And talk about mental health advocacy.
So I am a clinical mental health counseling student at GW. Shout out to being in my last semester of coursework because it has been a journey. But so Brown Girl Healing is a mental health blog, and it talks about like normalizing mental health and having that discussion and then providing support and practical support. So how do you get through this, right? Because for so long, I think that I've been in education for 11 years, and it was by happenstance. I've never wanted to be in education. My degrees are in psychology and Parks and Recreation Administration because I wanted to provide like some unique form of therapeutic recreation. But then somehow I just got stuck in education. But along the journey, I was able to see how much students are going through when it comes to, making that transition from high school to college or high school to the workforce or high school to some type of training program. It's because there were so many barriers that people didn't allow them the space to talk about. And so, being the homegirl that I was to my students, they would always share some things. And I'd be like, well, how can I expect you to want to do a college essay when you came home last night and your furniture was outside because your mother got evicted for the third time in the past 5 months? and you are 16 and don't know what to do with that. And people in the school building are telling you you're a fast little girl because you're staying with your boyfriend, but you don't feel comfortable with telling them that you've been evicted again because your mom is back on drugs and you don't know what to do, right? And so it was having stories like that and me constantly trying to provide support to realizing that, like, what happens in this community that we don't allow our kids the space to talk about this, right? What happens? Why is it that we don't allow our, adults, because, adults are broken kids that never had the opportunity to grow up and build from their trauma, or, learn from their trauma, or be able to get support from their trauma. And so I am my kids, my students, and Brown Girl Hill is just a platform for me to talk about what I've been through and provide supports for other brown girls going through the same thing. And so I can't allow myself to hold this to myself and keep it to myself. I feel like I have an obligation because somebody allowed me the space to talk about it, and somebody told me it was okay to go through things. I think that one of the things that we forget as humans is that we all go through some of the same things. Like, I am currently in my, like I said, I'm in my last semester of coursework, and my last right, I'm gonna keep on saying it, but
me too.
Listen, the grad school struggle is real, but I'm taking grief and loss right now. And one of the things that I think that was so powerful that my professor said is that there's a lot of things that we go through alone, but it's one thing that we do not go through alone, and that's loss. Everybody deals with loss. We have to, as humans, we have to connect with humans and allow them the space to process that loss, because loss is common, but grief, grief looks differently for everybody. And so it's so powerful when we don't allow people to space, especially Black women, because we are taught to be strong. I mean, I can go to tangent about that, but Black women are taught to be strong, and we are taught to show up regardless of what we're going through. And so I think that Brown Girl Healing gives me the space to allow brown girls to, like, show up, but, live their truth and their healing.
And you can get more information on Brown Girl Healing. It's browngirlhealing.com.
Yes, but the girl is a you, because it's us, not me by myself.
Girl. Like, girl. All right. All right. Excellent. Thank you for that. I want to go round robin with you guys before we're ending. Before we get to your final thoughts, I want each of you to speak to a top story or a top kind of thing that's happening in your industry that you've been following. I'm very interested in kind of in your domain, in what you're up to. What's a top thing that you've been looking or following? Let's start with the Nutty Professor himself.
I think it's hard to get away from this whole COVID thing. So thinking about how we're going to return back to schools, how school is going to look differently. I think we'll be doing ourselves a great disservice if we return back to business as usual. So figuring out how we can take some of these things we learned about education and learned about schooling in the virtual space, and then move those things back to the brick and mortar space. For example, one of the things that we do and what we have to do in the virtual space is parent meetings. So senior parent meetings, school-wide parent meetings, PTA meetings, we do them in the virtual space. And we've seen our attendance at these meetings skyrocket because parents have the ability to access them through technology and through Zoom. So something as simple as that, when we go back into the brick and mortar, let's not try to have these in-person parent meetings. Let's figure out ways in which we can connect with our parents or continue to do these parent meetings over Zoom. Thinking about also how we have students who have high absenteeism and sick days and things like that, continuing to think about how we can keep them connected to education through the virtual space. One of the things, a couple of years ago, I did an education innovation fellowship with City Bridge Foundation, and we had to look at blended and personalized learning models in California and Chicago and DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And this is really personalized and blended learning at its best, making learning accessible for students no matter where they are academically, socially, physically. So just thinking about that and, how I can contribute to my school community, as well as my AP scores. We did well coming out last year, half year in the virtual space. So that's a big stress for me right now, trying to get those scores in and see what they can do having a whole year in the virtual space.
Excellent, and great work on that. Absolutely. Nikki, I'd love to hear from you. What's one of the top things that you're monitoring?
I think that one of the biggest things is how we do healthcare. I think teletherapy has definitely shifted the way like clinicians have been able to administer healthcare. I think that, the pandemic has been really instrumental in like pushing innovation when it comes to healthcare, right? And then the access to it, we have seen so much for the past, like for, since the beginning of COVID, I was doing teletherapy sessions, and it was really interesting to see how much the attendance for teletherapy, therapy sessions increased. And so it's really important for us as a country to shift and to make sure that we have access, and that therapy is something that is accessible to all, and that is a part of like all the healthcare plans, just as well as, general doctor visits and stuff like that, because I think that there is a higher demand now for people wanting to check in on their mental health, and then being able to be, educated on it, right? There's a difference between being mentally ill and being mental health, because mentally ill is totally different avenue and a totally different support service. But mental health is like just like your general care doctors, and checking in with those same physicians. So I think that we have been forced to look into that as clinicians, as growing clinicians, because things look different. I know a lot of my professors have said, you guys are living in a very interesting time right now, because one, we're learning, because a lot of my professors and my supervisors have never had the opportunity to do teletherapy. And so there's a lot of innovation within the field. And so we are in a unique space where we're able to like actually have to try it out because we have no other choice. And so I think that it's really important now that as clinicians that we start to look into that, and then forcing healthcare to be able to, move in that same direction, to be able to support people, to be able to provide access wherever they may need it and how they may need it. Just as Wesley said, teletherapy has gone up because of COVID, and it's a lot more accessible because people are able to do it from inside their cars. I've had clients where they're doing sessions inside their car because they don't have to drive. They don't have to go anywhere. They can just, tap into a Zoom meeting online. And so it's really interesting to see how we've been forced to be innovative, and then how does that look once we have the opportunity to do a lot of things in person.
Indeed. I love the innovation piece. Tamika, what about you?
There's a lot going on in my mind. Those two topics, mental health and reopening of schools, has definitely been high top of priority for me. But I would say the one thing that I spend a lot of evenings doing is that my son is graduating from high school in June. So I'm super excited for him. And we're just knee deep in college application process and just learning about all the things that have not shifted that. So I spend a lot of time screaming, I need for us to reimagine education and reimagine the things that we've historically done that don't exist the way that they have before. In particular, like SATs, ACTs, SATs, the college entrance exams, all the information that's required of parents. And so I always think about that from an equity standpoint of like, yes, I have access and means to be able to create these documents and PDF them and all that stuff. But I do worry about all the families that don't have that support to be able to get those things done. So I've been doing a lot of reading about how I get this Black boy into a school that, sets him up for success, when an HBCU is where I would love to see him go, but that's not top of mind for him.
And how far are you along with getting him to go to NCCU? How's that going?
It's not going well, but we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. Yeah, unfortunately his counselor was not Nakia, so therefore he's not heard about NCCU from day one. It just showed up, with me and my sister saying, hey. So I did force him to apply, but there's other universities that show up a lot. I'm not going to name names, but they show up a lot and show out at his school. So.
All right, Nakia Adamson, Wesley Lawson, the Lake professor, and Tamika Bowden. Thank you guys for being here tonight. We're going to continue our conversation in a moment on Clubhouse. So if you guys are not a part of the Clubhouse community, let me know. We can get you guys invites. It's invitation only. Remember, go to nccualumni.org to join the Alumni Association. Is really, really important. And also go to eaglesgive.com. That'll support you in making a recurring gift to the university. We are excited to have you. And let me pull this off so you can see my face before we go. Thank you for always tuning in here with a new time, 6 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Just remember that the NCCU Eagle is no common, ordinary barnyard fowl. So we love you for watching, and we'll see you next week on NCCU Live. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Bye. Thanks for having me.